right, so we're diving deep today, and you guys know what we're talking about. Rodri, the footballer. Well, he just pulled off a shocker, won the Ballon d'Or. I mean, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it.
Yeah, a defensive midfielder, that's unheard of almost.
Exactly. It's not like they're out there scoring goals every game. The last time this happened was back in 2006. It's been a while.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how the game's changed. These midfielders, the guys who don't always get the glory, they're finally starting to get the recognition they deserve.
It's true. Rodri, he's a perfect example. The way he sees the whole field, controls the pace of the game, like, wow.
Tactical genius.
Absolutely. But let's rewind a bit, back to the beginning. He was actually in Atletico Madrid's youth academy. But they let him go.
What? No way!
I can imagine. The future Ballon d'Or winner getting cut.
You wouldn't think that's how it would start, that's for sure.
I know. But it's actually kind of inspiring, right? He didn't let that stop him. He went on to join Villarreal, CF.
And that's where things really took off for him, I think. Especially that 2017-2018 season. He was averaging like 8.6 ball recoveries a game. Highest in La Liga.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's nuts. I mean, he was a wall.
Totally. But it wasn't just about winning the ball back. It was what he did next.
He didn't just kick it away, right?
No way. He'd get the ball, and then boom, he's setting up attacks, controlling everything.
He's like a conductor leading the whole orchestra.
Exactly. Villarreal was his, I guess you could say, his proving ground.
Yeah, he really made a name for himself there. And then, get this. Atletico Madrid, the team that let him go, they sign him back.
You're kidding?
Nope. He comes back, first team, wearing the number 14 jersey. Think about that. The same number worn by Gabi, Simeone, legends.
Whoa, that's a lot of pressure to live up to.
I know, right? And on top of that, Atletico's coach, Diego Simeone.
His system is intense, very disciplined.
No kidding. But Rodri, he took it all in stride, thrived even.
He's like, that experience, it really prepared him for what was next. The Premier League.
And that next step, man, it was a big one. He signs with Manchester City.
Of how much?
$70 million, a record-breaking deal.
They must have really believed in him.
Oh, yeah, and the coach at Manchester City.
Pep Guardiola, a tactical genius himself.
I mean, he built that legendary Barcelona team around another incredible defensive midfielder, Sergio Busquets. So for Guardiola to basically hand Rodri the keys to that same role.
It was a big deal, for sure. And Rodri, he didn't disappoint at all.
Not even a little bit. He became the heart of their success, especially their Champions League win.
And who scored the winning goal in the final?
Rodri. Talk about cementing your place in history.
Ah.
But it wasn't just that one moment. He was consistently brilliant, shutting down attacks, setting up plays.
And get this, in that 2023-2024 season, he had 8 goals and 9 assists in the Premier League.
As a defensive midfielder?
Yeah.
That's insane. But then,
yeah,
just as he was at the top of his game, tragedy.
Oh, right. That knee injury, that was rough.
Sidelined him for the rest of the season. Awful.
It's incredible, though. Even with that setback, he still wins the Ballon d'Or.
Let's talk about that historic win. He beat some tough competition, too. First defensive midfielder to win it since 2006. It's a big deal.
His presence on the field, his leadership, his versatility, it all just came together, The voters, they saw it.
It's a win for him, but it's also a win for every player in that defensive midfield role.
They do so much, but they don't always get the spotlight. It's a real turning point.
It feels like it. I mean, how does someone go from getting cut by their own team to being the best in the world? Well, his journey with the Spanish national team, that might give us some clues.
Yeah, he's been a key player for Spain for a while now, even back in his youth team days. Won the U19 European Championship, actually.
Oh, wow. So he was always destined for big things, it seems like.
Yeah, I think so. Fast forward to Euro 2024, he was the engine in that Spanish midfield,
Oh, yeah, I remember watching those games.
Shielding the defense, giving guys like Pedri and Olmo space to create.
It felt like he was everywhere on the pitch at once.
Right. And he even scored his first international goal in a major tournament during that run.
That's right. I forgot about that.
He's not just about defense. He can contribute on offense, too. Makes him even more dangerous.
No doubt. But I think we have to talk about some of the, some of the controversies that have followed him.
Oh, yeah, right.
Specifically, that incident during the Euro 2024 celebrations.
Yeah, after they won, that video came out.
With Rodri and the captain, Alvaro Morata, chanting, Gibraltar is Spanish.
Yeah, didn't go over too well.
A lot of backlash, especially from, Gibraltar.
Obviously, they saw it as offensive and insensitive.
UEFA ended up launching an investigation.
Both of them got a 1-match suspension in the end.
It's a reminder, these guys, they're in the spotlight.
All the time, yeah.
And everything they do, even during celebrations, it can have consequences they didn't intend.
It's a tough lesson, especially in the age of social media, right?
Everything gets amplified.
Definitely.
So,
Tough lesson for Rodri to learn amidst all the success.
yeah, it's true. So we've talked about his triumphs, the setbacks, even the controversies. What do you think, what's next for Rodri? Obviously, he's got a tough recovery ahead of him with that knee injury.
Yeah, it's a big challenge for sure. But if anyone can come back from it, it's Rodri. I mean, we've seen his resilience before, right? Remember, he was released by Atletico early in his career.
Right.
Used it as fuel, came back even stronger.
He's got that determination, that's for sure. And he's still relatively young.
Oh, yeah. Lots of time left to achieve even more. And his Ballon d'Or win, it could be a game changer.
Oh, so?
I mean, will we see more recognition for these defensive midfielders now? More investment in developing these types of players?
That's a fascinating thought. Because Rodri's journey proves that you don't have to be the flashiest player on the field to be the best. Sometimes it's that quiet brilliance, the tactical mind. The unsung hero in the midfield, they're the ones who make the real difference.
His story is truly inspiring, not just for footballers, but for anyone facing obstacles, you know? Talent matters, but dedication, perseverance, the willingness to learn, to adapt, that's what sets you apart.
So true. As we wrap up our deep dive into Rodri's world, I want to leave you with this thought. His Ballon d'Or win, it feels like a turning point, a moment where we're finally starting to appreciate those players who, from the heart of the midfield, orchestrate the entire game.
Makes you wonder, right? Will this inspire a whole new generation of players, kids who want to be like Rodri?
It's a good question. Will we see young players, really focusing on that deep-lying midfield role?
Could be. I mean, when you look at his whole journey, started with getting cut from his boyhood club, then Champions League hero, Ballon d'Or winner.
It's amazing.
It really shows how much he believed in himself.
Yeah, and how hard he worked to get there.
He never let those setbacks, define him.
Right. He used them to push himself further.
Always trying to improve, learning new systems.
Adapting to different styles of play.
He really embraced the tactical side of the game.
It's true. He's a perfect example of, how talent is important, but
it's the dedication, the perseverance.
that constant desire to learn, to grow.
That's what makes the difference.
And his story, it's inspiring even if you're not a football fan. It reminds us that we all face setbacks, right?
Oh, yeah. They're inevitable.
But it's how we respond to them that matters.
It's true. That shapes our journey.
Absolutely. Rodri's Ballon d'Or win, it's a big moment, not just for him, but for how we see these unsung heroes.
The players who might not be the most famous.
But they're so crucial to a team's success.
It's their contributions, that really make the difference.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Rodri's world, the question is, will this lead to a new era in football?
An era where tactical brilliance, that midfield mastery...
It's celebrated just as much as goals and individual skills.
It's an interesting thought. Only time will tell, I guess.
It will. But one thing's for sure. Rodri's made a huge impact on the game.
Definitely. His story's going to inspire people for years to come.
And that wraps up our deep dive into the incredible journey of Rodri. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of that quiet brilliance.